And we are joined by Ambassador J.S. Mukul, former senior diplomat. He's joining us from Gurugram. Thank you very much, Ambassador Mukul.
Thank you.
If we look at the CEPA, could this deal, in a way, help India to diversify to the region in terms of India has been, looking largely at the UAE, but now with Oman having another CEPA and the potential to take the market beyond even West Asia, what do you think about India's ability to diversify as a result of this?
Well, thank you and good evening. Yes, at the end of a very successful visit, which led to many outcomes, certainly the India-Oman Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, is certainly, I think, the most important. Of course, it was expected. We were all looking forward to this. And I think it's a landmark or a milestone in the strategic partnership, the all-encompassing or the comprehensive strategic partnership that India and Oman have since 2008. So as I said, this is a major milestone. This is a major landmark. Honorable Prime Minister, of course, I think described it as a blueprint for India-Oman shared relations going forward. So I think that kind of summarizes or sums up the importance of this. To your question, specific question about diversification. Yes, first it is mutually beneficial and to the mutual advantage of both sides. And I think it is very comprehensive in the sense that it opens up opportunities or unlocks opportunities in almost all sectors of the economic commercial relationship, not just trade, but also with regard to investment. And there are a number of related things. I think the Honorable Prime Minister speaking to the business community at the India-Oman Business Forum after the signing of the CEPA exhorted them to take advantage of the CEPA and give wings, so to say, to the CEPA. So yes, the expectation is certainly that this particular landmark agreement will help in both intensifying the economic commercial relations between the two countries, but also diversifying it into new areas, since it removes trade barriers, it provides for greater access and openness, and it brings the economies of the two countries and the business communities together.
Clearly, India is strengthening its business relations with West Asia, where there is a strong Indian community. But also the point is that this area is strong in oil, in energy supplies, and India could, after all, India looks for the best markets, and best prices in terms of oil. In this context, do you see, India in a position to utilize this kind of an agreement to deal with the volatility in the global oil markets?
Yes, it looks at both areas, the traditional energy areas of oil, LNG, petrochemicals, etc. But also, interestingly, it calls the joint statement issued at the end of the visit calls upon the business community and shows commitment to other areas, the non-conventional areas, the new and renewables, the green hydrogen, green ammonia, and all these have been clearly spelled out and mentioned. So again, it's not just in the traditional areas where we are already strong with regard to Oman. For example, in the petrochemicals and fertilizer sector, OMIFCO is the largest, was at the turn of the century, $1 billion worth of joint venture, 50-50 between Oman Oil Company and the KRIPCO and IFCO of India, with 100% export of urea, etc. to India. So it's already a very major cooperation in the traditional areas of oil, LNG, petroleum products, fertilizers, but also trying to diversify it to other areas. In that context, let me also say that Prime Minister invited Oman to join the Global Biofuels Alliance, apart from, of course, joining the CDRI. So that is, again, on the energy side. I think CEPA will also be a kind of a building block, if I can put it, with regard to the larger India GCC economic cooperation, because
Right.
that FTA, India GCC, has been in the works for a very long time. We, of course, have one with UAE, and now I think this being the second one
Right.
among the GCC countries will, I think, provide impetus both for bilateral trade investment, but also a kind of building block, as I see it, in terms of the larger
Right,
India
indeed. And
GCC
you say that the Prime
FTA.
Minister also said that it's a blueprint for future. In this context, we look at the services and professional mobility. Indeed, after all, at the end of the day, a large number of Indians work and live there. To what extent, is this something that could be, let's say, a blueprint for other countries? After all, mobility agreements are something that Indian workers are looking for.
Absolutely. I think it's not just trade and investment again, it also calls for creation of new jobs. And that I think is something which would be very welcome to the very large Indian expatriate or diaspora community in Oman. So there is, I think, as I said, it was all encompassing. It's a very broad-based agreement. And I think there is a lot of expectation. Of course, time will alone tell as to whether this turns out to be a kind of game changer. But certainly at the moment, it looks like a major landmark, a blueprint for India-Oman shared future relations.
Both India and Oman are, sort of maritime gateways in that sense. To what extent, is the maritime cooperation going to also facilitate, at the end of the day, the economic cooperation?
India-Oman, vision statement from 2023, the last summit that happened in Delhi. But I think this is a specific one with regard to the idea being to look at secure maritime security, maritime piracy, which is fortunately at a lower ebb today, as it unlike in the past. Also look at blue economy, look at the maritime domain awareness and exchange of maritime information. So again, after all, we always say that India and Oman are joined by the waters of the Arabian Sea. So the maritime cooperation has always been very strong, whether it was in the defense related side, where India and Oman have regular naval exercises starting from 1993, a biennial every 2 years. I think we have finished 14 editions of what is called the Nasim al-Bahar, or the Sea Breeze exercise.
Right.
And this maritime agreement, or MOU, vision agreement, will augment and further
Okay.
intensify our maritime cooperation.
A final question with regard again to the large Indian diaspora present. We see a lot of remittances coming in from there, isn't it? Are we likely to see much more now in terms, because after all, the economic potential of the relationship has vastly increased?
No, I think that is something that could be expected. We get at the moment about 3 billion out of the total remittances globally, about 118 billion US dollars per annum. About 45% comes from the six GCC countries, which is about 45 billion, and Oman contributes about 3 billion. So yes, as I said, more jobs would obviously mean more remittances, more economic more money in the hands of the workers and our professionals. But also, if you recall, the joint statement
Yes.
talk of cooperation in other economic areas, like, for example, linking the India's UPI system with the Omani digital payment system. There is also the offer that they could look at the RuPay payment system of
Yes.
India. And of course, the two sides agreed to explore trade in local currencies. So I think all those areas will help boost trade, investment, jobs, and overall the economic commercial relations between the two, which in turn will obviously have a positive impact on remittances going forward.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Ambassador J.S. Mukul, for putting that entire CEPA into such clear context for us. Now, moving on to our next story.